The world is changing. Our culture is evolving. People's views on issues are progressing. And we, Orthodox Jews, are following thousands-year-old laws. How can one reconcile the ancient rules of the Torah with the modern progressive society? In order to answer this question, we have to first clarify what progress is. Progress, by definition, means moving forward. How can we determine which movement is a step forward and which one is not? And which movement is a step backwards? In the sciences, the answer is clear. Every new discovery is a step forward. In technology, it is also obvious. Every new invention that has a use is progress. And if the invention is not providing anything to anyone, it's not progress. In economics, it is also clear. If we have more money, that means the economy is advancing. And if we have less money, it's a setback. In social, ideological, cultural, and ethical areas of thought, we also see movements in societies all the time. Opinions change, new ideas appear. But how can we determine which ideas are a move forward and which are not? How do we select these ideas? If I'm walking, in order to determine whether I'm stepping forward or backwards, I have to first clarify which way is forward. In order to determine whether the society is moving forward, it is also necessary to establish in advance which direction is forward. Any progress has to be aimed at pursuing some goal. Medicine is seeking to discover new treatments. Astronomy is trying to achieve a greater understanding of the universe. What is the goal of our progress in ideological or cultural areas? When studying science, we understand the trajectory of its development, more or less, and can imagine the future discoveries. We see, in general, where the science is growing. And when it comes to ideological and cultural issues, can we do the same? Were you able to imagine the attitudes of today's society, say, 20 years ago? Napoleon banned abortions in France, citing the ethics of a progressive society. But today, many Western cultures are fighting for removing restrictions on abortions in the name of progressivism as well. Homosexuality was the norm in ancient Rome and ancient Greece, who called themselves progressive. Later, for centuries, progressive Europe banned homosexuality. Today in the US, the progressive movements again are regarding homosexuality as the norm. It seems like we are not progressing, but moving in circles. When a new idea appears, what principles do we use to determine if it has to be accepted? In jurisprudence, there are strict laws governing what degree of conviction must be achieved and what arguments are considered valid. And do we have the same standards when determining the ethical issues of our society? I am an observant Jew. I have the Torah, which is my guide for my worldview. The society in which I live does not follow the same principles as I do. But I, having clearly determined my point of reference, can say which movement in this society is a move forward and which one is not. That which moves the society closer to the Torah's principles is considered by me to be a progress. And further away from the Torah is regression. Obviously, people who are not very familiar with Judaism can reply with questions about the Torah's laws that seem to be objectionable. But I recommend you to study Judaism deeper to see the real meaning of these laws. When slavery was abolished in the US, it was progress. Although the Torah talks about slavery, the term slave in the Torah has nothing to do with what was called a slave in America or Europe. We had a video dedicated to this topic. It was called "Why Does the Torah Allow Slavery?" The slavery that was in the US was against the Torah, and its abolition was progress. When eugenics were promoted in the US and Europe, from the point of view of the Torah, it was regression because its ideas are against the Torah. I can use the term progress, that is moving forward, only because I have established for myself which direction is forward. If people don't have such point of reference, they cannot even talk about progress. People sometimes think that the Western secular society is progressive, and Orthodox Jews are not. But it turns out that the opposite is true. The Western secular society cannot be progressive because they have no opportunity to be progressive, since they have not yet determined for themselves which way is forward and the rules for advancing towards these goals. And the Western secular society, all they can do is move chaotically, usually in circles, with every new fashionable idea starting being called a progress. Western secular ideas are just new fashions that people like. The Western secular world cannot be progressive because they have not established what is a progress. The Orthodox Jewish world, having established it for themselves, can. I am progressive. Are you?